Saturday, everybody, and it is a cold one. I've been recovering from COVID for the last 2 weeks, and I knew today was going to be bitter, and I was really thinking about bailing out. And then Deb said to me, Stephanie, the first time you took me out hiking, it was 9 degrees out. And I'm like, you're right. So I'm going out hiking today. It's not going to be a long one because I don't know how good my breathing is going to be, and because it is so cold. So what I'm doing is I'm working on my challenge for this year, which is I am going to hike the 20+1 trails in the Natural Lands Trust Challenge. If you go to naturallands.org, you can find a list of all of those trails, including the +1 is a garden that I down in, I believe it's the media area. I gotta look into it more because I haven't gotten to that point yet. So today I am going to go down to the Hildacy Preserve in Media. It's about a 1.8 mile loop that's mapped out on all trails, although there's a lot of side trails, so I can cut it shorter or make it a little bit longer if I wanted. But right now it is 11 degrees at 10 o'clock. I waited as long as I could, but I can't wait any longer. I need my puffy jacket. I need to get warm. So let's get on the road and get this hike going. So welcome to the Hildacy Farm Preserve. This property, I found out from the informational sign, was a land grant from William Penn in 1683 to a local tanner in the area. I'm presuming the Crum Creek runs right nearby, and I'm presuming that the tanner used that and the trees in the area as part of his business. So this is 55 acres under protection by the Natural Lands Trust, which, if I haven't explained that before, that is a conservation group working here in southeastern Pennsylvania and into New Jersey, preserving these kinds of historic and natural lands for environmental purposes, but also for recreational use. So that's why I'm out here today. I'm really enjoying discovering these trails and finding out more about it. You can see back here, that's their offices and I think educational space. We saw some of that from the road if the footage takes. And the trails go off this way. Now I think from the All Trails map, we're primarily going to be doing the Red Trail, which is about 1.5 miles. It does look like it has some offshoots. We're gonna see how we feel. I got out of breath just putting my boots on, so I may not be up to doing 2 miles. But we're gonna get started and see what this looks like. readjusting to hiking in weather this cold is making me relearn some things that I learned last year when I started hiking. Last year I didn't know any better. This year you'd think I would remember the things that I learned last year, but now it got hot and I forgot it ever gets cold. And the biggest thing I forgot is for the first half hour of hiking, my hands are always ice cubes, just absolutely frozen, and I'm sure that they're never going to warm up. And I have gloves, and I got windproof mittens to protect them, and it doesn't matter because, like I said, for the first half hour, no matter what I've got on my hands are ice blocks. And by the time that half hour is over, I don't need anything. My hands are nice and warm and everything's fine. So what I do have, I have these head mittens or gloves, just Costco. They have the sensitive fingertips, which works great on my phone for everything except starting and stopping the videos. So I have nose prints all over my phone from where I started the video with my nose. All right, the wind is picking up a bit, so I'm gonna put this away and put my glove back on, and I think I see some ducks. As you may have noticed, if you watch my Gwynedd Preserve hike or the Binkley Preserve hike I did, hey, hello, there's a lot of open fields in some of these parks, and that's because a lot of these properties, when they are claimed, given, purchased by the Natural Lands Trust, are old farm properties where the fields have been abandoned. And it may have been recent, it may have been quite a while ago, but it leaves these big open areas. And you would think, well, if they're trying to reclaim them, they must be planting them all to trees. And that's not the case at all. Because they were farmlands for however long they were, it had become a habitat for certain kinds of wildlife that required the kinds of plants and other biome features of a farm field, which would mean a lot of grasses. So in a lot of these places, the Natural Lands Trust are letting it go just the way it is. They'll come in and plant native flowers that might contribute to the wildlife that they're trying to encourage in the area. But for the most part, they're not planting trees, except in small areas like we saw there. We did see it a bit at Gwynedd Preserve, where they had a new forest that they were planting. But for the most part, it's all going in like this. Now this area, you can see, was a lot of trees. And unfortunately, there were a lot of ash trees. As I'm learning from this sign here, they had to cut down about 2 acres of mature ash trees because of the emerald ash borer, which is a real problem here in Pennsylvania as well as in other parts of the country. So the ash trees that are here aren't going to last more than a few years. So this is there's no way to restore it as an ash forest. So it says they are harvesting the trees and are selling the wood for lumber, and they will use that as part of whatever restoration that they do in this area. So it'll be interesting to come back and see what that looks like over the next few years. All right, about 1.5 miles in, got about 1 mile to go. Let's keep going. And we're back. All Trail says I did 2.1 miles. That's about what it felt like. After the first 3/4 of a mile, I was not cold, so I have to remember the adage to dress 10 degrees warmer than the thermometer says, which was just about right. I was a little worried. I normally have a pair of lined running tights that I wear under my fleece-lined hiking pants and over my silk long johns on days when it's this cold. I could not find them, and I'm worried that they got purged in one of the last cleaning rounds that we did at home. So I am going to miss those pants. They were very warm this time of year. But the gloves worked fine. I never needed the mittens. I didn't need my buff. I never needed to put my puffy on. So it's still saying it's about 17 degrees, feeling like it's about 15 degrees. But that's not terrible. So, good trail. Very easy. It's very level. There weren't any major challenges. A couple of minor inclines. So if you're looking for an easy walk, I wouldn't even necessarily call it a hike. This is a great place to come out. I saw lots of joggers, lots of folks with dogs. I think it's probably a lot busier when the weather is better. It was, because it was so chilly, I think there weren't as many people out as there normally would have been on a Saturday. But that's one of the benefits of coming out this time of the year. The other is any place that might have been muddy, you know, if you see descriptions on all trails of a trail being exceptionally muddy, this is the time of year to come out and do it, because that mud is all frozen solid, so you won't have any problems. All right, so we are getting back in the swing of things. I will be going out again next week. Not sure where I'm going yet, but I will take you with me. I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great week, everybody. Take care. Bye.